Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a historical humans heritage episode. And today we are doing a sister episode to our most recent podcast episode on Hammurabi, which just went live on Monday. And Hammurabi's home was Babylon, so we figured, what a better city to talk about than Babylon?
So you're just gonna keep babbling on like this?
Yeah.
Or
Babylon.
Yeah. Now the interesting thing here is the Babylon that is inscribed for what it would be the World Heritage List here is not Hammurabi's Babylon. Is in fact the Babylon which existed from 626 to 539 as the capital of the Neo-Babylonian Empire. Hammurabi ran the Babylonian Empire in the 1750s.
Oh, wow. So like 1,200 years before.
Yeah, BC, folks, BCE.
Yeah. But we weren't kidding in that podcast when we said that Hammurabi shaped the culture, the culture and history of this region for the next 1,000 years.
So what? There's two Babylons now.
No, there's two empires of Babylon. There's the Babylonian Empire of Hammurabi, and then there's the Neo-Babylonian Empire, the ruins of which are now inscribed in the World Heritage Monument in this wonderful little town that is now south of Baghdad.
About 80 miles south.
Yeah.
It's just a day trip.
Yeah. Now, the Neo-Babylonian Empire is known for having housed one of the seven wonders of the world.
Ooh.
That being the Hanging Gardens,
which we have yet to find.
Yeah,
still waiting.
Yeah, it is associated heavily with them, and there's nothing quite like a romantic notion to get people to value something.
So here we are. History isn't enough.
Yeah.
Also, it helps to turn the history into a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, capitalism.
Yeah. Now, Babylon and its Neo-Babylonian Empire were known for making major strides in terms of mathematics and astronomy, as well as for their various monuments, including not just religious or even palatial monuments, which are those for the rulers, but also for defensive structures. A lot of Babylon's fortifications are themselves magnificent. I believe that is the default image for what we're witnessing, which is a restoration of the walls of Babylon,
which are very impressive and very imposing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's all that's left of multiple empires in terms of the capital city.
It also it mentions the pictures and the galleries talk a lot about because that's the first picture that's up there is the processional way north of the Ishtar Gate.
Yep.
But it also has a Greek theater, and which reminds me of Alexander the Somewhat Great, also coming to Babylon, and then later coming back to burn it down after it revolted.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's not a lot left of the capital of what was the head of multiple empires.
Because someone just had to conquer all the way to India.
Well, he's not the only one who's at fault.
I'm gonna blame him though.
Yeah. Let's not forget the Mongolians, although Baghdad suffers far more from their hand than Babylon.
But a lot of Babylon looks like the third image here, which is mainly rubbles and ruins.
Yeah. Which,
imagine if it was still
fortunate, is is more, shall we say, historically accurate than any restoration would be, because that's where the bricks literally fell.
Oh, some people would argue that you could do a restoration on history, and living history is just as important.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing I find too is this site was only very recently inscripted in 2019.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. Yeah, no, it's very recent.
Yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say something something military intervention, something something political instability.
Yeah, we don't like to get too political here, so
I do.
No.
no,
Uh,
not Aaron.
so a number of monuments have their remains in this city of Babylon, including the great ziggurat Eta Menenaki and the palace of Nebuchadnezzar.
Is that the first or the second?
It just says the palace complex. I'd have to get into like the actual weeds of their site forms for that, which we do not have up at the moment.
My money's on the second.
Yeah, possibly. Um, it's and Babylon itself is woven into the religious texts of all three of the Abrahamic religions, which are the religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. So this is, arguably this is a fundamental city to the existence of a lot of a lot of parts of the world. Not just for its political empire, not just for its military strength, not just for the monuments it built, but also because it had a hand in a lot of religions that are still very powerful today.
Yeah, it had quite the influence, and then I think that's probably a good point for us to talk about. We talk about why it's important. Now, the integrity of the site. How does the site hold up to the modern day?
I'm always a bit iffy when it comes to reconstructions.
So,
Well, then it'll please you to know, Aaron, that in terms of authenticity, 85% of the site remains shall we say, unexcavated, which means it remains undisturbed, even by archaeologists.
That's good. I
The
mean,
other 15% is completely reconstructed.
yeah. I mean, personally, it's because the issues are when you do reconstructions, you're reconstructing a specific time period, whereas sites obviously go through many different time periods, and so when you reconstruct something, you also might and along the way might have to destroy other periods of that site's history. Specific one of the specifics is like well known for this at least is in Athens on the Acropolis, because after the Acropolis was no longer a center of political power, it was converted into a church. It was converted into a fort during the Ottoman period. So they've stripped the Byzantine, the Ottoman stuff all the way just to get to the classical period. And arguably, because that's the site, that's the what everybody thinks of Athenians
so,
during,
Well,
or the Athenian
well,
Greeks.
well, Aaron, to get us back on track here with the site we're talking about. UNESCO does agree with you in terms of the reconstructions. Their first statement on it is the reconstruction sections. Their authenticity, the authenticity of the property above ground is problematic.
the thing
Uh,
the thing here though that I do want to kind of highlight, cuz a lot of times people look at it very negatively when stuff is reconstructed, especially in specific contexts like Stonehenge was reconstructed and rearranged, Newgrange in Ireland was reconstructed. I mean, a bunch of the Mayan and Aztec temples were reconstructed. There's an argument to be made, whether valid or not, that even a very true to heart attempt to recreate it could cause harm, which I think is what Aaron's getting at. However, there is the flip side of preservation in place and teaching that history.
yeah,
You know,
and
we have
yeah,
I just let me continue
yeah,
for a
so
sec.
yeah. All right, go.
Um, we have a lot of things in modern day where you see a lot of recreation villages. I mean, specifically with the Wild West and like with the Deep South and plantation life. There's a point that could be made about preservation in place and about trying to attract those tourism dollars, because that's a lot of times the only thing that's keeping these places from the bulldozer realistically.
Yeah, well, the argument in this case is that the reconstructions in Babylon were based on scanty archaeological evidence,
Mm.
and the height and design of these reconstructions is based on conjecture rather than scientific or archaeological evidence.
So that is a good
So,
point.
which is why I'm saying UNESCO agrees with Aaron here, because this was done based on the romantic idea of Babylon as the place of, the Hanging Gardens, the capital of these empires, the home of Nebuchadnezzar's palace, this romantic idea of Babylon, as opposed to what the archaeologists are saying. No, in this period, the walls looked like this. That was not what was designed on. We know the walls were there, but it's like they probably didn't look like that. They probably don't look like the reconstruction.
Which, yeah, I am a big, like, I totally understand, because, like, the sites need funding, because God forbid that, a site's worth is not based on its wealth or its ability to produce wealth, but, it is what it is. I do like, one of the things that I do like when it comes to reconstructions is when they're away from the site. Like, there's a German village has reconstruct that, like, it's been like a 50-year project where they reconstructed I think like an Iron Age village, but it's not on an Iron Age site.
Yeah.
So I think stuff like that's really cool. But I get it, like, but still, it's good to know the harm that stuff like this can do, at the very least.
And moving from harm to the undeniable threat of harm to all UNESCO World Heritage Sites and all archaeological sites in the world, and that is its protections against looters and just tourists who like to take things.
Shoot them on sight.
Well, you laugh. You say that. Iraq has a wonderful little thing called the Antiquity and Heritage Police, who have their own dedicated station at the site. There's an entire police force just dedicated to guarding this site. An actual division of the police.
Which unfortunately
is Babylon and other sites.
But so, unfortunately, that's kind of important.
Yeah, it's like you joke about the use of force to protect these sites. Like, no, they put a dedicated police station specifically to protecting the historical site.
Part of the reason why this is important, if you lived under Iraq, is there are certain groups in the Middle East who are trying to cause havoc and go against the government, and one of the things they like to do is use force, and one of the easiest ways to send a message is to use high explosives on historic sites, which they have done, and they have done at quite a few locations.
Rest in peace, Palmyra.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like there is a dedicated police station for this site. There is a police dedicated, specifically to this site, in addition to the usual things, which I'm very happy to see that there is both basically federal level, state level, and local level laws all implemented to protect this site, that some of which date back to 2002.
And that has seemingly worked.
Yeah. And since 2011, every 7 years, stakeholders from the local and national levels have met, consulted, and developed action plans for the preservation and continued maintenance of the site. The last of which was endorsed in 2018.
Wonderful.
So it's active. It's engaged with the community. It's protected on all levels of the community, and as Aaron has been itching to see in one of these UNESCO heritage sites, the use of force has been authorized.
Listen, we all know we have seen so many sites just be destroyed by tourists or for looting.
Yeah, so like there you have it. There is a dedicated police force that maintains a dedicated station at this site for the sole purpose of defending this site.
I mean, I'm sure they don't use lethal force, but after we saw that, especially after I saw that video of that woman climbing one of the step pyramids in, I believe it was a Mayan. I think it was a Mayan period.
Belize or Mexico, I'd say.
Yeah,
I think
I
it
was
was
just
Chichen
like,
Itza. I think it was a prominent
yeah,
site.
she was just running up him. It's like, and everybody's
Yeah.
telling her to get down, get down. She just completely ignored him.
And then she
And I'm
did a
just like,
TikTok at the top. That's the part that upset me, was she danced on it.
like at that point, if she got all the way to the top, yeah, just take her out. Use her as a sacrifice,
Well,
like the top.
the funny thing is, as she walked away and as she was taken away, she got assaulted pretty rough. But that's without
I
the
don't think
point.
that's funny, but it's just so much
I
like
mean, like an ironic
no,
twist in fate. I don't mean actually
yeah,
humorous.
Yeah.
Bad
but
choice of
like,
words, but
but
that's
like,
off
yeah,
topic. We're going to end
yeah.
this here.
That's
Thank
what
you
I
guys
thought,
for
yeah.
watching. We'll see you in the next video.